What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of what's it? WebShots, right, OG?
WebShots.
Okay, it's a WebShots, right?
It's a
WebShots. So everybody, today we are going to do a number 2, going off our last video with Knott's Berry Farm and Six Flags. But before we do, OG, thank you so much for joining me today, sir.
Absolutely, always a pleasure. Thank you for having me. We're looking forward to talking about some Six Flags / Cedar Fair news part deuce.
Part 2. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. So on our last video, OG, that we did, which was about a couple of days ago, right? We talked about the unfortunate layoff of the presidents, right? Of Six Flags and Knott's. So, because like people at home, if you don't know, Six Flags and Cedar Fair, they merged to become the new Six Flags Entertainment Corporation. And of course, when you have companies that merge, layoffs and restructuring are bound to happen. Now, right here, OG, we got Six Flags is to cut 135 jobs at Knott and Magic Mountain and other California parks. Bro, let's get into this article.
Let's dive in. Six Flags Entertainment, the parent company for Knott's Berry Farm and Six Flags Magic Mountain, will cut 135 full-time jobs at its California theme parks. It says here in an email statement to KTLA, the company stated that it has notified the state that 135 full-time jobs will be reclassified as part-time positions or eliminated across several California theme parks. Employees impacted can continue in a part-time role or will be provided with a separation package and other benefits. It says here the California theme parks include Knott's Berry Farm, Six Flags Magic Mountain, Six Flags Discovery Kingdom in Vallejo, and every time I say Vallejo, I think of that Ludacris song. It's crazy. If you know, you know. Vallejo, and then California's Great America and Santa Clara. And then real quick before we go any further, last year an $8 billion merger between Six Flags and Cedar Fair made it the largest amusement park operator in North America. The investments, which will total between $500 million and $525 million in both 2025 and 2026, will include new rides, attractions, themed areas, dining upgrades, and technology enhancements that are sure to deliver an unparalleled level of fun and excitement to guests of all ages, a news release said. What say you, Ebba?
So, OG, so with that being said, right, real quick, just want to point out before you continue on, Magic Mountain is also expected to open a new first-of-its-kind coaster in 2026. Dude, that is the third park to open a coaster in 2026. We got Legoland, Universal Studios, and now Magic Mountain. 3 coasters in 2026. That is going to be a pretty banger of a year, I would say, OG. But, going back, I kind of want to start at the top, right? It's very interesting, So, again, it's very unfortunate that we're now having like full-time, theme park employees, team members, having their jobs cut to now part-time. That is very unfortunate because, these people obviously, rely on their income for survival, right? But not only that, these full-time positions come with, the benefits, right? Health insurance, 401k, right? All that stuff. Now you're going to take that and cut them down to part-time. I don't know. I get it, the restructure, the restructure and all that, but to me, that is very much I don't know. I don't like that. I get why the company is doing that, but that, honestly, at that point, I would rather you just lay me off, honestly.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I'm with you on this. I get it. I understand the mindset. When you have 2 companies, especially 2 companies like this, you had Six Flags and Cedar Fair. They both do the same thing.
Yeah.
So when they merge, there's going to be a lot of redundancies with that whole situation. So there's going to be layoffs. This was inevitable, right?
Yeah.
But it sucks, man. It sucks to see people lose their jobs or to get cut down to part-time and they can't put food on the table for their family. That really, really sucks. And it's a shame, dude. And as park fans, we've all been worried about this merger. Cedar Fair, I think most park fans will agree, has done a better job at kind of managing their portfolio than that of Six Flags. And, This new company, I understand, even though it's technically Six Flags, does share a lot of executives from Cedar Fair and what have you. But a lot of fans are worried that, like, are the Six Flags is Six Flags culture going to kind of bleed into the Cedar Fair stuff, and it might. And these layoffs are not really, boding well to kind of buck those allegations, so to speak, right? So we'll see how it all works out. Hopefully at the end of the day, I mean, to be kind of positive here, hopefully at the end of the day, they'll restructure, they'll maybe get leaner as a company, and have more opportunities to give us quality over quantity in terms of like the product itself, hopefully, because a lot of Six Flags stuff is really lacking. You know what I'm saying? So we'll kind of see, man. But yeah, layoffs always suck. It always sucks to see people lose their job, and my heart goes out to everybody affected by it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because especially too, it's kind of jarring too, especially when, like, theme parks generally are open a lot of times throughout the year. I know there's a lot of Six Flags parks not as popular as as a moneymaker as Magic Mountain is, and again, I think that's where they're going to start cutting parks, right? This park aren't doing so hot, let's cut it out, right? So again, you're cutting out the fat. But with this, I mean, you're cutting jobs at like money making parks, like Six Flags Magic Mountain, and then Knott's Berry Farm. Like with Discovery Kingdom, and Great America, like I know Great America does pretty okay. I don't know about Discovery Kingdom, but Magic Mountain is a beast of a coaster park, especially for thrill junkies.
Yeah,
so it's really surprising to me that those would be the parks they pick to cut. OG, I want to ask you a question. Do you think this has to do anything with because how expensive it is to have labor it is in California?
Oh, yeah, big time. Yeah, big time. I think labor is a huge issue for California. I know that the company that I work for, like my normal 9-to-5 job, about almost a decade ago now, 2017, they made the decision to have the California employees work from home. And they cited the reason is because of how expensive it is to do business in California. I love California. I'm a huge advocate for California. We always talk about it here on the channel. I love Cali, but it's not without its problems. I'm not going to pretend like we don't have our issues. It's very expensive. So they felt like to mitigate the cost, they would have the California employees work from home. Now, in doing that, when you have people work from home, you have the inevitable churn, because not everyone wants to work from home. Not everyone can work from home. You have families who maybe have a lot of kids or something, and they can't do that at home. It'll be too noisy, whatever. So they lost quite a few actually California employees. It saved them money. But yeah, on a personal level, my company did that, and it was because of the cost to do business in California. And the minimum wage here is very high compared to a lot of other states. Yeah. So Webba, I think you're right. I think that's a part of it. Maybe not the whole thing, but a big part of it. I think that, along with the restructuring, they're looking across the board, and California is an easy target because it's so pricey,
No, exactly. And OG, if you could scroll down to the bottom where we left off, right? Because I want to talk about what you were saying earlier about if they can improve these parks. Well, looking at this statement, right? Despite the losses, Six Flags said it will invest over $1 billion into its theme parks over the next 2 years. For these type of parks, OG, that's a lot of money. Right. I mean, because we're really just talking about, at the end of the day, coasters, right?
Right. But these are not. This is not Battle at Ministry or Rise of the Resistance kind of stuff here. No,
exactly. But what it does say, though, and which is actually very exciting to me, is new rides, attractions, themed areas. I like that because it tells me they're going to start going into that themed park market, right? Dining upgrades and technology enhancements, which again, awesome, because part of the upscale, high scale involved theme parks like Disney, Universal, you got to have that high tech in there. So I'm really curious to see what these upgrades to the park are going to be. and I hope really it makes these parks more, how should I put it, more appealing to people like us, OG, who aren't really big thrill seekers, right?
Exactly. The variety is important. You know, like I've lived in Southern California my whole life, born and raised Californian, you know. But I've never been to Six Flags Magic Mountain. I've been to the water park, but never Magic Mountain. The reason being, why? Why would I go? I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy where I'm going to go and like ride a bunch of crazy roller coasters. When you go to Six Flags, it's either a bunch of crazy roller coasters or I'm sitting there like in some little Bugs Bunny like baby ride, you know?
Yeah.
Like why am I going to go all the way to Valencia for that? You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to waste my time, my money, you know? Now I would with you guys just because I love hanging out with you guys.
Oh,
but
yeah.
For me personally, like, you know, if people were to ask me, why haven't I gone as of yet? Well, that's why, because, you know, if I don't have buddies to go with or there's nothing for me to ride and it's kind of like out of the way in Valencia, I'm not going to do it, you know? So that's kind of where I'm at with it. But if you had more variety, more themed stuff, people like you were saying, well, but people like you and I would be more inclined to go down there and check it out, you know? Even if there's like little bits here and there, like Knott's has a lot of the Six Flags kind of shit over there. Let's be honest, the boardwalk and the accelerator thing and all that crazy stuff. But then it has a lot of theme stuff though for like you and I, like the ghost town.
Yeah.
So for me, Knott's is worth it. We you know we've all been to Knott's. It's a fun place, dude, and we're planning on going again in a few months. But I think Six Flags needs to sort of step it up and become more like a Knott's Berry Farm, have a little more variety in those Six Flags parks, and I think that'd be good. Yeah,
no, absolutely. And OG, before we go, there was one last part of the article that I want to mention real quick, and this is specifically for you, brother. Soak City, baby. Soak City is scheduled to get a water park refresh.
There it is, Soak City. We love Soak City. Soak City.
Over here at OG55, we love Soak City, man.
we are Soak City fans.
Absolutely. OG55, thank you so much for joining me on this webisode of WebShots. Where can everybody at home find you on social media, sir?
You can find me right here on Orange Grove 55 with this fine gentleman talking theme parks, film, streaming. You know, we do like, you know, reaction videos. Like we do a lot of reaction videos to other Disney content creators, like our friend Hey Bricky or Fresh Baked. We like to get nerdy with it and like kind of like brainstorm and all that. So check out those reaction videos if you haven't already. But yeah, you can find us here on Orange Grove 55. And you can also find me on Instagram, Orange Grove 55. And Mr. Webba, thank you for being a fantastic host today on WebShots.
Absolutely. See y'all later.
Snapping shots, swinging high, Mr. Webba, the city's alley, Orange Grove, where danger hides with web swing in action. He'll turn the tides, dodging bullets, leaping tall. Webba's here to save us all from the villains, he won't fall. Spinning webs.
Thank you for watching OG55. If you aren't already, consider becoming a member today.